Alright guys, I got a new animal coming in. I bought the enclosure off of PetSmart.com, and we gotta go pick it up. Come on, let's go. This is not just any animal. This week I have a special meaning. And that's not to say that all of my animals don't have a special meaning, but this will be extra special. Not only is this a species that I've wanted to get for a while, but it's coming from a legend in the reptile community. A man who, I'll go ahead and say it, has done more in and for the community than the late great Steve Irwin. And that's not to take anything away from the pioneer. That's just facts. But I'll get back to that in a minute. First, let's grab this enclosure. Whoa, look, they already have my order ready at the front. But before I go, I'm going to look around and get a few decorations for this new enclosure. And man, they have so many options. But I don't even know where to start. These get pretty expensive in the store, so I'm probably going to make a lot of the decorations for this setup. Besides, nothing beats custom. Speaking of which, hey, check this out. We came to the pet store and Mama found me a new couch. Yep, one day I'll have fish again. Gotta add on first. I have to say I'm pleased with the animal enclosures today. Humidity and temperature ranges are right. Everybody's got water. Good job, PetSmart on 378. Alright, thank you.
Thank you.
Man, what a beautiful day. Alright, now that I got what I needed, let's get back to the house and get this setup started. Back at the Oasis. Alright, the first part's done. Got the enclosure in the house. Now I just gotta rebuild the mantelpiece and decorate it out. Now, as excited as I am to hook up this new enclosure, the fact is that the baby might not go in there yet, because he might still be too small. But when he gets here, I'll decide. If I have to put him in like a little 6 or 8 quart tub for a while, I'm cool with that. Either way, I'm going to go ahead and hook up this new enclosure, so I got something cool to look at. So I know you're probably wondering, what kind of animal is he getting now? Could it be a dwarf caiman? That can't be it. That enclosure's too small. Okay, fine, I'll give you a hint. It's another snake, but what kind is it? And I know you're probably wondering, how many more does he need? I'll never have enough. But wait, I thought you said you had a tiny house. Did you want to add on first? Well, I do have a tiny house. But with a couple more reptiles on my wish list, it's kind of been hard to wait. When opportunity knocks, you just gotta take it. But sometimes, as sad as it is, when one door closes, another one opens. And this is the first bit of bad news that I really didn't want to have to deliver anytime soon. But unfortunately, my beautiful girl, Dora the Explorer Possum, she passed away last week. And to be honest with you, I knew it was coming for some time now. Unfortunately, these animals don't live long. As soon as she passed away, I really didn't want to look at a reminder everywhere in my house. I mean, I love the memories and all, but I needed to separate myself from some of her stuff. So I started disassembling her cage that I built her. It was a pretty cool build too. You should go check out that video. I'll link it in the description. Alright, now I promise this whole video is not going to be gloom and doom, because that's not how I roll. But I just want to explain the meaning that this new animal is going to have for me. Now, any of you in the reptile community, you probably already heard. But a big influence in the community, a big role model of mine, Brian Barczyk from the Reptarium, sadly, has recently been diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. Now, any of you that know about cancer, you know this is not a good one. And unfortunately, to add to the challenge, the doctors have just told him that his tumor is inoperable. So I want to start out by saying that if you pray, if you believe in a higher power, I need you to pray for Brian Barczyk. Even non-reptile people know who Steve Irwin is. Well, I'm here to tell you right now that Brian Barczyk, and in many people's eyes, just as much of a legend as Steve Irwin. Now, I'm not taking anything away from Steve Irwin, and Brian would tell you himself that Steve is one of his heroes. Steve laid the foundation for all of us to try to follow. But I'm here to tell you that without Brian, this reptile industry would not be the same, especially not in North America. So not only has he been a role model to me, the way that he keeps his animals, the way that he builds out its enclosures, but most of all, honestly for me, the way that he's been successful on YouTube. I mean, he was the first guy to prove that you can have millions of subscribers just to watch a bunch of reptiles. Who would have known? But he didn't get all these millions of subscribers by having cool animals and nice enclosures. He did it by busting his butt and staying on the grind every day. For those that don't do YouTube, y'all might think this is easy, but I promise you, it's more hours than you'll ever do at a 9-to-5 job. Especially when you're doing it on the level that Brian does it. So I'm going to keep hope and faith alive that he can beat this. Because I know personally, from my own life, that miracles happen. And they happen on a daily basis. To the point of today's video, so with all that going on in Brian's life, he's looking at ways to ease the burden on his family. Because they got a lot of zoo to keep up with. And not to mention the new Legacy Aquarium coming soon. So he decided a few days ago to sell off all his colubrids. And I've been wanting to get a king snake, so I figured the time is now. So I ordered a king snake from Brian at BHB Reptiles, and it'll probably be here next week. And because it's a boy, I figured I might as well just name him Mr. B. So for now, I'm going to go ahead and build out the enclosure, get the plants and decor in, and they'll all be ready to move in when he's big enough. So this king snake, being a variable king snake, or a Lampropeltis Leonis, comes from the Nueve Leon mountain range of Mexico. So I'm using styrofoam blocks to carve out mountains. You know, just to make it more natural. And to build up the heights, I'm just going to glue pieces together. I'm out of the adhesive I normally use, so I'm using wood glue. This will hold it together long enough to get to the next step, which will lock it all together. For the background, I used these thin sheets I had left, laminated a few together, so it's thick enough to carve out the detail. And this is when I got interrupted. Man, this weather's so bad, I don't even want to hold this tool in my hand. I mean, it doesn't get that hot, but it's still 110. And there goes the power. Man, when is this going to stop? Well, I thought the storm was over, but I guess it's not. Power came back on and I got excited. I want to do some more carving, but I don't really want to get electrocuted. Well, the sun's up, and somehow I still have a roof. Yeah, that was one hell of a night. But I did get this much of my mountain carved out. Got one cave started here. Got to cut some more. So I already started carving out the little caves inside so that he can crawl through all the way up the mountain from the bottom. Now I'm going to get back to carving. But I got to open this window first because this stuff don't smell good. Alright, so I finished carving out the mountain, and I'm pretty happy with it. Don't mind the yellow glue stains. The foam coat will cover that up. So after laminating a couple pieces of this thin styrofoam together, I made a piece thick enough to do some carving in it. Now the mountain will be on the left side of the enclosure, so I'm going to let that dry, then I'm going to carve it out, and then I can get to the foam coat. But first,
I have a package for you.
I never can get enough of these kind of boxes in the mail. Wow.
Yeah!
Man, he's beautiful. BHB? Now that's exciting. I followed Brian, BHB, in the Reptarium since probably around the time he built the Reptarium. And I've been a big fan from the beginning. But I never really thought I'd get a snake from him. I just wanted to visit the facility. So let's check him out. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to weigh him up. Because I'm not sure how much he weighs. And it's always a good idea to get a weight on your snakes. That way if he goes off food or gets some kind of illness, I'll be able to track the weight loss. I'm going to weigh the cup with him in it. And then I'll take him out and weigh the cup by itself so I know the weight. Because I don't have anything to put him in right now. Alright, it says 30 grams. So this little boy is pretty small. I was expecting to be around 20 grams, and I would think that container weighs more than 8. So we'll see. These are some tight deli cups right here. Ain't no way he's getting out of this one. Hey little buddy, you want to come out and play? Come here, good boy. Oh, it's okay, buddy.
I'm crazy!
He's so little. It's okay, little boy. You'll get used to me. You won't be scared forever. Alright, so we're going to weigh this container. Even though I lost a couple shavings, but not much. So, 21 grams. So this little baby is 9 grams. Holy moly. I don't want to disturb him too much. So I'm going to go ahead and get him settled in his new house. And then we got to go back to PetSmart. Because I'm not done building his new enclosure. I know you're not supposed to get a snake before you have a house yet. But the fact is the enclosure I'm building him will be his full-grown enclosure for when he's an adult. But meanwhile, I already got a juvenile bin ready for him. He should go in the rack with my female hognose. Because obviously, he's not big enough to eat any of them. Alright, so I'm going to set this little boy up right here. I keep calling him little boy, but he's got a name. Mr. B. I'm using one of my old hognose bins that has a lid on it that just so happens to fit in this shelf with the lid. These bins have a slight dip right here. And a little Slim Jim colubrid can probably squeeze right through that. So normally, I wouldn't want to put a king snake on a rack with hognose where my expensive snakes might get eaten. But this is just a little baby. Not to mention that this particular type of king snake, he's not as cannibalistic as the other types of kings. Go to your house, okay? It's getting a little chilly. I've handled you enough. I'm going to put you in your house, and I'm going to let you chill out for about a week, and then I'll come back and try to give you something to eat. And there he goes in his tube. If you're looking for an easy, cheap way to junk up some of your snake bins, paper towel rolls, toilet paper rolls, they do the job. And I'm telling you, snakes love them. My snakes don't even hardly go in their hides. I guess first I give him some water. Now that I got little Mr. B all set up for the day, let's head to the pet store. And we're back at PetSmart. So I brought back one item I was going to put in the enclosure, and I'm going to exchange it for something else. That's kind of cute.
That's pretty.
Yeah, I think that works.
That's pretty good. That matches his plant.
Yeah, I think this is better.
That looks better.
Hey, buddy. What's up, buddy? Not today, buddy. I wish. Alright, so we made it back from PetSmart. As you can see, I carved out my backgrounds from the laminated pieces of styrofoam that I made. So I took a guess at the measurements when I made the mountain, and I was about a 1/2 inch off because I didn't account for the thickness of the background, which is a 1/2 inch. I'm going to line this styrofoam up to the background, I'm going to trace it out, and I'm going to cut the background out so it can sit down right over the top of this. Alright, carving done. Time to foam coat. Got my mountain carved out. Got my rock ring carved out. So I got my boost, my grit, my measuring cup, my foam coat, and my background. And this is the final background design that I came up with. This guy wants to help me work. Hey, brown dog. And who's that? Rosebud. You look real entertained, Rosie. It's 3 parts foam coat to 1 part water. So I'm going to use this boost, and it's going to replace the water. At least half the water. So if you're looking for 16 ounces of water to 3 pounds of foam coat, then you can use 8 ounces of water, 8 ounces of this, or you can just use 16 ounces of this. Alright, that's 2 pounds. That's 3 pounds. I'm going to start with this one first. This is the one that's the most brittle, most important to me. Okay, this one's small enough to fit in the bowl, so I figured it'd be easier to do a dipping method. Kind of hard to do without breaking it. That'd get all those crevices. Prop it up just like that on top of those rocks. Man, I wish I could dip everything. Alright, on the last piece, at least the first coat of the last piece. Oh, that was the perfect amount. Yeah, it's cracking. That's why I was going to put it in here before I put the last coat on it. I got the background installed, laying in the back. I realized that after they dried, they started to concave on themselves. So, I had to glue them down. And once I lay them down and glue them down, well, they end up with small cracks in it. So, I decided as much of a pain as it is, I had to glue them in there before I could put the final coat on. Which means I got a lot of cleanup on glass I'm going to do. Okay, it's time to do some painting. The base coat's dry, and it looks like lava rock, so it's time to add some detail. I should mention that while I didn't get it on video, I also used dry lock over the top of the foam coat, just to add some more protection and a waterproof barrier. So it might not have looked like much when I was painting it, but side by side, you can clearly see the difference. And that's just one coat. Not to mention that paint will last a lot longer on top of dry lock. I got the background painted up. Kind of hard to see in this light, but I'm waiting on the puddle to start running in the bottom that hasn't dried yet, so I can clean that out, and then I can paint all the detail in it. Well, the next step's done. I pulled the cabinet out of here. Now it's time to go rebuild it to hold a snake enclosure. I'm going to build most of it out of this makeshift pallet that my dad brought home from work. So now I'm going to take this cabinet apart that was part of Doran's cage. I'm going to use this nice piece of wood on top to hide the plant light that'll be on top of the tank and to give me a mantelpiece back. Alright, it's time to take all this old junk wood and turn it into a cabinet to hold this enclosure. I'm going to start out by cutting 5 legs, and I want it to sit 9 3/4 inches tall. And this is a 1/2 inch, so my legs need to be 9 1/4. You ever wonder what deer dream about? So I decided to cut my legs off at 19 inches. I'm just kidding, I don't even have 19-inch legs. But I did cut these posts at 19 inches. And these will be the vertical supports to hold the mantelpiece on top. After I cut those nice posts off at 19 inches, I realized they won't work, because they're a 1/2 inch too wide for the enclosure to fit. So I went back over my plans and I cut these boards. They're only 3/4 inches thick, so they'll work just fine. The bad part about doing it this way, now I have to do pocket holes. So when you don't have a knife and you need to open something, multi-tool. Oh yeah, works like a charm. And my girl's still hanging around. I think she's pregnant. Boy, that's a good looking dog. Are you so good looking because you eat all those cookies? I see a tick on your leg from here. You better eat that thing, get it. That's it, girl. That's what I'm talking about. I got a trained deer. More ways than one, too. Hey, if you gotta poop, you better go. You hear me? Don't you poop right there in front of that camera. And this bad boy is framed up. Check this out. I can work and watch Carolina baseball at the same time. So this section right here will be hidden from my couch. And this section will have a door on the front of it. And that board will be the front of the door. Okay, for the last couple days, I've been trying to get as much stuff as I can get done in between rain showers. So, I didn't record a whole lot of my footage. But I did get the cabinet completed. I stained it, clear coated it, and brought it in the house. Check it out. I'm really liking how it's turning out. I ran out of the trim work that I put around this door right here. So, I gotta get a piece for that side and that side. I put a magnet on it, and it opens up like that, and I got storage space under there. I always keep a stack of these rare earth magnets and use them to make my latches. I got my plant light up, and it's got a nighttime mode. But I also got this light strip in case I want to change the colors up. And most importantly, it's HomeKit enabled. Now it's time to finish all the decorations. And after way too many hours, the masterpiece is finally done. Come check it out. So I got the main hide on the left side. This will be the warm hide. The heat pad will be under this side. And he goes up in this cave. There's a hole underneath, so he can come out of that cave up top, just in case he wants to get some elevation. So I made the rock ring to hide the water bowl because with this nice mountain, I didn't want just a standard bowl showing. And I really love all of my little air plants. I ordered these off of Amazon. So if you don't know about air plants yet, or Tillandsia, it's pretty cool because you don't plant them in the dirt, because they don't drink from the roots. They actually take in all the nutrients from the top of the plant. Check out how these plants brighten up when you spray them down. You water them from the top, and they grow new babies from the bottom. And then there's this cool down German plane, and I'm not really sure why it was traveling over the Mexican mountain range, but apparently the cartel shot it down. But it's going to be a cool little place for my baby to hide. So moving on, I got this down tree limb over here. It's got a couple holes in the sides, one in the top, so he can come in from any angle he wants to. And I got it stuffed full of sphagnum moss, so this should be his human hide. And of course the plant I got in the top is fake, but it's just to add some coverage. This little bushy plant back here is real. I think it's called a devil's tongue. I'm not sure. I just thought it looked like something nice to hide in. So the plant light's got several settings, and it comes with this little touch switch. So, you got the brightest setting right here, the nighttime setting, and this is kind of a hybrid setting, so it's got the night lights in there and the daylights, just to give it a broader spectrum, I guess. And of course, my LED strip. Hey Siri, Mr. B's LED. Hey Siri, make Mr. B's LED red. Hey Siri, make Mr. B's LED blue. Hey Siri, make Mr. B's LED green. Hey Siri, make Mr. B's LED white. This is my typical nighttime setting, using the blue and the red LEDs. Overall, I'm extremely happy how it turned out. I can't wait to get Mr. B moved in. For now, I'm going to enjoy looking at this empty tank, but it won't be long and my man Mr. B will be big enough to move into his new home. In fact, I got proof that he's already growing. Check this out. He should. Check out those nice colors. And towards the tip of his tail, it gets more golden. What I like though is the skull pattern on the top of his head. And that's pretty much it. It's about done now. I'm just going to keep misting it down every day. And by the time my boy's big enough to move in, everything will be well established. I still got to buy my bugs, my cleanup crew. Probably going to pick them up in a couple weeks at Repticon from my friends at Zippy's. But anyway, if you watched for this long, I really appreciate you. Thanks for sticking around, because I know this has been a long one. But this one means a lot to me, as I stated before. I'm really going to enjoy this little guy. Well, that wraps it up. If you haven't subscribed yet, it's free. And if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button. Comment below. Tell me what you like the best. Tell me where you think I can improve. Let me know if there's any other content you might want to see. I always love to get suggestions from my followers. After all, I do this for y'all because I can't stand the camera. Anyway, until next time, y'all have a good one. And friends, please don't forget, pray for Brian.